Hello everyone. So we are going to start the unit 3, the next unit, that is your force dispersion. So eventually here also I have divided the unit in the different parts. So with this we are going to start the first part of the course dispersion. So in the first part of the course dispersion we are going to learn about the suspension. Here, first of all, we need to know what is the suspension, the basic background. Then eventually you are going to drill the basic concept, their theories related with the suspension and other aspect of the suspension. So without wasting any time, let's start our presentation. So you see suspension, right? We all have come across this word in our day-to-day life, and even we have taken different types of drugs in the suspension form, right? So features that is desired in the pharmaceutical suspension. See, we all have consumed pharmaceutical suspensions. To become an ideal suspension, to become an ideal pharmaceutical suspension, the suspension should have some sort of property. So what are the features that is desired in an ideal pharmaceutical suspension? First of all, the suspended particles which are present in the suspension, they should not settle rapidly. Means the particles which are present in the suspension, the solid particles, they should not settle rapidly and the sediment should not form readily. Moreover, if the sediment has formed, or if the particle has also suspended, or means if the suspended particle has settled down, they should be easily resuspended. This substance should be easily resuspended by inputting a moderate amount of shaking. A gentle shaking should redisperse all the settled suspended particles in an ideal pharmaceutical suspension, right? Moreover, they should be easy to pour. Means while pouring the suspension from the bottle, it should be neither water-like, nor it should be grittiness. Means loads, means very high amount of the solid particles. It will lead to the grittiness of the suspension. It should not be there in a desired pharmaceutical suspension. Moreover, the suspension should have pleasing odor, color and palatability. Actually, these three things, pleasing odor, color and palatability, it increases the acceptability of the suspension by a patient. Apart from that, it should have the good synergibility, and it should be physically, chemically and microbiologically stable. The pharmaceutical suspension should be physically stable, it should be chemically stable. Means physically stable means it should not get deteriorated with the change of the physical attributes, just like your heat, light, temperature, whatever it is. Chemically, it should not chemically interact with other excipients. Moreover, it should be microbiologically stable. Means the suspension should not allow the growth of microbes within it, right? Apart from that, if we are making some parenteral, means there are those which will be given by the syringe in the intravenous or intramuscular form. So if that is a suspension, or the ophthalmic suspension, if we have prepared a ophthalmic suspension which is generally allowed to pour in the eyes, they should be sterilizable. Means these particles or this suspension, this type of suspension should be sterilizable, right? Now the dispersed phase. So what is the dispersed phase? By virtue of the definition, the dispersed phase or dispersed system, it refers, actually the dispersed system, it refers to a system in which one substance, this is the dispersed phase, it is eventually distributed in units throughout a second substance, that is a continuous phase. Suppose the dispersed phase, it is the, generally it is the solid, right? If we have add chalk powder or suppose some mud in the water, it will form a suspension. The dispersed phase in that system, it is the chalk powder, whereas the continuous phase, it is the water. The continuous phase, it is in a huge volume. Moreover, the continuous phase, it tries to suspend the dispersed phase within it. Clear? Now the suspensions, they are known as the heterogeneous system, and they generally consist two phases. What are the two phases? One, it is the dispersed phase, the another one, it is the continuous phase. So if you see a solid particle in the liquid dispersion in which the particle is more than the colloidal size, it is known as the what? It is known as the coarse system or coarse dispersion, right? So in the coarse dispersion we have the dispersed system. So dispersed system, it will be put in the dispersion medium. The dispersion medium may be either your aqueous or oily liquid, right? And the dispersed phase, it is the insoluble solid. The dispersed phase, it is always the insoluble solid. So if we add the salt, or if you are going to add the sugar in water, that is not a colloidal system, because that is not a coarse system, because they don't form what? Suspension. They generally form a true solution, right? So this is an example of a bottle. You have, most of you have taken at least once in your life, the suspension. So basically you see a pharmaceutical suspension, it is a coarse dispersion in which the internal phase. Now what is the internal phase? That is the solid particles. The solid particles, they are known as the internal phase. So the internal phase, these are the therapeutically active ingredients, which is also known as the API. API means active pharmaceutical ingredients. Thus, the therapeutically active ingredients, it is dispersed uniformly throughout the external phase. The external phase, it is nothing but a continuous phase. That may be either your water, or that may be your organic liquid, or aqueous. Clear? Now you see the internal phase, that is the solid particles in a suspension. They are generally insoluble solid particles. They are generally made up of insoluble solid particles, but you should remember their size range. The size range of the suspension should be in between 0.5 to 5 microns. The size range of the suspension, the solid particle size range, it is always between 0.5 to 5 micron, and which is maintained uniformly throughout the suspending vehicle. That may be either your water or some organic liquid by the aid of a single or combination of suspending agent. These suspending agents, these are nothing but, these suspending agents are some agent which helps to maintain the suspension, or which helps to suspend the solid particle in that liquid medium, right? So the external phase, that is the suspending medium, is generally the aqueous, in which sometimes it may be organic or oily liquid for non-oral use. So generally the external phase, that is generally in a suspension, they are generally aqueous actually, but sometimes it may be organic or oily liquid for non-oral use. So classification, we all know that based on the particle size of the dispersed phase, the following type of classification we have. We have the coarse dispersion, we have the colloidal dispersion, we have the molecular dispersion. This type of dispersion, they are based on the size of the particle, that is the dispersed phase. And based on the electrokinetic nature of the solid particle, we may have two types of suspension. One, it is the flocculated suspension, another one, it is the deflocculated suspension. The details of this will be discussed later on. So now the classification of the dispersed system based on the particle size. So one table I am going to give you, but this table has been already given you in the first chapter. It is a colloidal dispersion, but still, just to recapitulate the knowledge, we are going to discuss this table. So here you see we have actually three types of dispersion. One, it is the molecular dispersion. The next one, colloidal dispersion. The third one, coarse dispersion. Molecular dispersion, their size, it is always less than 1 nanometer. Colloidal dispersion, size ranging from 1 nanometer to 0.5 micrometer. And coarse dispersion, it is greater than 0.5 micrometer. So characteristic of the molecular dispersion, they are invisible in electron microscope, right? They can pass through the ultrafilter, semi-permeable membrane, whatever it is. Example is your oxygen molecule, ordinary ions, and glucose. The next one, it is a colloidal dispersion. That's generally not resolved by the ordinary microscope, but you can see this colloidal dispersion by using the visible electron microscope like your SEM and TEM, and this can easily pass to the filter paper, but the colloidal dispersion they never pass the semi-permeable membrane. Example, colloids of the silver solutions, natural and synthetic polymer, cheese, butter, jelly, paint, milk, shaving cream, etc. These all are colloidal dispersion. And the last one, it is a coarse dispersion. They are visible under, as their size are in the micro range, they are visible under the normal microscope. They do not pass through the normal filter paper, they do not dialyze through the semi-permeable membrane, and they do not diffuse. Example of such coarse dispersion, you see grains of sand. Grains of sand are most of the pharmaceutical emulsion and suspension and red blood cells in the plasma. They form a coarse dispersion. So till now I hope you have understood. So thank you everyone. If you like the video, just press the like icon. You can share this video and you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again.